This week on Jerusalem Dateline, the U.S. and Turkey agree on a ceasefire, but the Syrian Democratic Forces, the Assad regime, and the Russians are not included. Will it hold? Plus, CBN reports from the front lines about the human cost and the humanitarian efforts. And thousands of Christians come up to Jerusalem to celebrate the biblical feast of Tabernacles. All this and more this week on Jerusalem Dateline. Hello and welcome to this edition of Jerusalem Dateline. I'm Chris Mitchell. After days of fighting between the Turkish army, its jihadist allies, and the Syrian Democratic Forces, U.S. Vice President Mike Pence and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo met with Turkish President Erdogan to broker a ceasefire. After the ceasefire announcement, Pompeo traveled here to Jerusalem. The trip was designed to help ease Israeli concerns about the pullout of U.S. troops from northeast Syria. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Israeli leaders have said little about the U.S. troop pullout from Syria, but many believe they're concerned since the move strengthens Israel's #1 enemy in the region, Iran. On Thursday in Turkey's capital, Vice President Mike Pence announced a ceasefire after meeting with Turkish President Recep Erdogan.
Today, the United States and Turkey have agreed to a ceasefire in Syria. The Turkish side will pause Operation Peace Spring in order to allow for the withdrawal of YPG forces from the safe zone for 120 hours.
But Turkey and the U.S. seem to have different views on the agreement. Turkey's foreign minister says it's not a ceasefire.
It's a pause. This is not a ceasefire. Taking a pause doesn't mean that our forces there are going to withdraw.
But fighting continues in some parts along the Turkish-Syrian border. The Syrian Democratic Forces, the SDF, issued a statement and said they would do everything they can to observe the ceasefire, but rejected any occupation by Turkey of Syria. According to the SDF, it only applies to the areas that the Turkish invasion now controls. The agreement also does not mention Russia or the Syrian regime, who already have troops on the ground. The Assad regime rejected any Turkish occupation. And the big question is which reading the U.S. supports. The SDF says the Turkish interpretation would surrender all Kurds and Christians to Turkish jihadists. President Trump called it a victory.
It's really a great day for civilization. It's a great day for civilization. So I just want to thank everybody.
In Washington, some senators were unhappy. New Mexico Democratic Senator Martin Heinrich said, under this so-called ceasefire, Kurdish forces and their families face the impossible choice of fleeing their homes or being ethnically cleansed. Utah Republican Senator Mitt Romney called it a betrayal.
The decision to abandon the Kurds violates one of our most sacred duties. It strikes at American honor. What we have done to the Kurds will stand as a blood stain in the annals of American history.
As Senator Romney said, many of those Kurds, along with Christians, Arabs, Yazidis, and other ethnic groups in northeast Syria, feel abandoned by the U.S. During the ceasefire, CBN's Chuck Holton joined some of those people as they went to recover and bury their dead. He described the scene to Mark Martin on CBN's Newswatch.
Chuck, tell us, where are you and what are you seeing? Can you hear me right now?
I can hear you, Mark. I am currently looking at a group of people digging through the rubble of a house that was hit with a airstrike, and they're digging bodies out of the rubble. There's probably about 100 people here. It's a civilian convoy that once the ceasefire was announced last night, they put this convoy together, and they came up in civilian vehicles, and they've started attempting to recover some of their dead. Now, they've already dug 4 bodies out of the rubble here in just the last few minutes, and it's, the stench is overwhelming. It's obvious that this supposed ceasefire is not really holding. There have been reports of artillery strikes and firefights going on. But we were allowed to pass through FSA lines to get to the spot where I'm standing. So it's still very confused situation out here.
Yeah, Chuck, how are the Kurds reacting to the news of that ceasefire?
Well, they were jubilant last night, and the whole town of Tal Tamr, where I was just going up. Everybody was shooting their weapons in the air. It sounded like World War III. But that celebratory mood has cooled now that they're here and are recovering their dead. They are, there are bereaved women crying all around. I saw a woman retching in the ditch over there. Like I say, the smell is atrocious right now, and it looks like they're finding another body right now as I speak. I'm standing in the rubble of a collapsed house, looking down at a bunch of people that are digging through there, trying to recover more of the bodies that are in this collapsed building.
What else can you tell us about the people caught in the middle of the fighting? What are they going through? Talk a little bit more about that.
Well, everyone we talk to feels so very betrayed by the United States, and they're very upset, very sad about that. They're not angry so much, but just very sad because they had very high hopes for this project that they call Rojava here, that it would be an island of democracy and diversity and freedom of religion in this area. We've talked to a lot of Christians. Many of them are very fearful of Assad's forces coming into this conflict because for some reason that I had not understood before, Assad's forces, they say, are pressing into service any band of military aids that they come across, and these guys don't want to serve in the Syrian army. So many of them are trying to escape to Iraq or wherever they can go to get away from the Syrian forces that are also very close by.
Okay. All right, Chuck Holton, thanks so much for that report. Stay safe.
As you can see, the war has created a humanitarian crisis. George Thomas reports from northern Syria that CBN's Operation Blessing is on the scene, working with the Kurdish Relief Agency to help thousands of families with essential supplies.
This is George Thomas in northern Syria. Talk of a 5-day pause in the fighting here is doing little to calm Mohammed Suleiman's nerves. This was the scene in his hometown of Ras Al Ain Wednesday, as Turkish-backed jihadists made a new push to take control of the strategic town.
I'm so old I don't even remember how long I've lived there. Maybe 30, maybe 40 years. I cannot believe what's happening in my hometown.
Some 300,000 Syrian Kurds have been on the move since Turkey's invasion last Wednesday, most escaping with little more than the clothes on their back.
People in Syria are suffering a lot because the Americans sold us for £0.50 and the Russians sold us as well. Why must the Kurds always be subject to genocide?
CBN's Operation Blessing is partnering with Kurdish relief agency Barzani Charity Foundation to help thousands of families with essential supplies.
Since yesterday, we have distributed 5,000 food parcels, 20,000 blankets, 5,000 hygiene kits, hundreds of thousands liters of water, and baby formula with baby diapers.
Within hours of Turkey's invasion, Barzani Charity Foundation initially thought about setting up 2 positions right on the Syrian-Iraqi border, thinking that all of these Syrian Kurds would come to this center looking for help. They didn't. So instead, they decided to come right into the conflict zone and right here into Syria. In Hasaka, close to the conflict zone, all of the city's 40 schools are now shelters for those escaping the fighting. This week, Operation Blessing and Barzani Charity Foundation took urgent supplies to several of the schools.
While the majority of the international NGOs have left, you came bringing your aid, and that gives me hope that there are people who still care for us.
30 semi-trucks filled with critical supplies made the dangerous journey close to northeast Syria's front lines, delivering much-needed relief and hope. Despite the risks, Barzani Charity Foundation says it will be the first of many such trips to the region. George Thomas, CBN News, Kamishli, northeast Syria.
You can find out more about what Operation Blessing is doing to help these refugees in need and how you can help. Visit their website at ob.org. Coming up, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham and CBN founder Pat Robertson discuss the crisis in northeast Syria.
Christians around the world are standing with the Israelis. But why? In CBN's free magazine, Friends of Israel, you'll discover why Christians are supporting the Jewish state, how Israel is fulfilling prophecy as a light to the nations, and ways you can pray for the people of Israel. Israel needs the support of friends like you. Call now or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Friends of Israel.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs, from health to entertainment, you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place, from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Check your local listings or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Protect your sleep and live your best life with innovative information from 5 leading sleep experts.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
Discover a sleep-enhancing bedtime routine, how to put insomnia to rest, learn how to relieve pain that disturbs sleep, and much more in Protect Your Sleep.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
Don't miss out on this brand new series.
One of the most outspoken allies of the Kurdish people has been U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. Before the ceasefire, he joined CBN founder Pat Robertson to discuss the crisis in northeast Syria.
Pat, you've done a great job. To your viewers, if we are not praying for the Kurds, we should all be ashamed of ourselves. It was the Kurds who worked with the American military to destroy ISIS. If we abandon the Kurds, it will be dishonorable, it will be a disaster. So Erdogan invaded Turkey. He has, Syria. He has created a vacuum for ISIS to come back. The Kurds cannot fight Turkey and control the 10,000 ISIS prisoners. I am looking to President Trump to change this. I will do anything I can to help him, but I will also become President Trump's worst nightmare. I will not sit alone on the sidelines and watch a good ally of the Kurds be slaughtered by Turkey and watch Iran move into Syria and become another nightmare for Israel. This is a defining moment for President Trump. He needs to up his game.
Well, I have suggested that there be a Trump declaration like the Balfour Declaration to say there's a homeland for the Kurds, let's give them a country. Is that too much to hope, or am I exceeding my bounds here?
Well, your admiration for the Kurds is well justified. That's probably not the play right now. The play right now is to stop the slaughter. If they move into Kobani, if Turkey moves into Kobani, you're going to have an atrocity worse than ISIS. What does the average American care? ISIS is an enemy to mankind. They would kill everybody listening to this broadcast because you're an infidel. They're not going to surrender. If you think you can leave the Mideast as an American and we'll be safe, that's crazy. If you think Russia and Iran is going to take care of U.S. interests, that's insane. So the reason I like the Kurds so much, they destroyed the caliphate, but there's 20,000 ISIS fighters. If they come back, they're coming here. And the only way to be safe here is to have some of our troops partnering with the Kurds. And finally, it would be so dishonorable for this country to abandon the Kurds. And the Iranians, Pat, are ready to move into Syria to take the oil fields, and that would undercut everything President Trump has done to contain the Iranians, and a nightmare for Israel.
Lindsey, you have understood this situation, and I think we both have, and we're both grieved when you think of, for example, that Kirkuk oil. That is one of the biggest oil deposits in the world, and of course, we're going to give that up and say, no, you can't have it?
So here's what I talked to Mesloun last night. He's the leader of the Kurdish military. I'm going to try to get him on your show. Okay. You need to hear how desperate he is. He doesn't want to partner with Assad. Partner with Assad is like partnering with Iran, but he has no choice right now. We have left him high and dry. And when I hear President Trump say, let's just get out of the Mideast, we'll be fine, that's Elizabeth Warren politics. What did we learn from Iraq? If we leave against sound military advice, the radical Islamists come back. You may be tired of fighting radical Islam, but they're not tired of fighting you. The only way to be safe is to keep them over there so they don't come here. I'd rather have partners than do it alone. This is a defining moment for President Trump. We need to stand by the Kurds. We need to push Turkey out of Syria, have a safe zone, keeping the Kurds and Turkey apart. And we need to partner with the Kurds regarding the oil field. I proposed last night a joint venture between the Syrian Democratic Forces and the United States, controlling the oil for their benefit and ours, not Iran's.
That's some pretty hard words. You think the president's going to listen to you? I hope he does.
Well, I hope so, and here's what will matter. People like you. You know, you're a rock star. You're a 90-year-old rock star. In my world in South Carolina, when you speak, people listen. And people are inherently fair. They're tired of the Mideast. I got it, but the Mideast is not tired of you. Can you imagine what would happen if we let Iran come into Syria? That would be another front that Israel has to defend against. Iran wants the oil. They want to destroy Islam they want to purify Islam in their image, and they want to kill all the Jews and us. So this can be prevented with less than 1,000 troops. The good news, President Trump has destroyed ISIS with 2,000 soldiers because 60,000 Kurds and Arabs did the fighting for us. It would be a shame to abandon that model and to throw these people over who fought and died. By over 10,000 Kurds died. We cannot do that. It will be a shame on our honor. And as you said, the mandate from heaven would be lost. And you are right.
Amen.
Up next, Christian pilgrims from around the world come up to Jerusalem to join the Jewish people in the celebration of the biblical Feast of Tabernacles.
CBN Israel, standing with Israel and blessing God's people. Join us. Get breaking news from the Holy Land. Witness biblical history uncovered. Learn the true story of Israel through groundbreaking films. Help Holocaust survivors and other Israelis in need. Be part of the redemptive story God is telling through His chosen people. CBN Israel. Together we will stand. Join CBN Israel today.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs, from health to entertainment, you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place, from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Check your local listings or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times best-selling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network, featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain. Get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
Israel is celebrating the biblical feast of Sukkot, and thousands of Christians from around the world have come to Jerusalem to see prophecy fulfilled and attend the Feast of Tabernacles celebration. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has that story.
It's a gala event with deep spiritual significance.
We have to come. Gentile Christians should come to Jerusalem at the Feast of Sukkot.
This is the 40th Feast of Tabernacles celebration of the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem.
Some 5,000 Christians from 100 nations have come up to Jerusalem this year to stand with Israel and celebrate the biblical feast.
A lot of people from all these little Pacific islands, the Cook Islands and Samoa and Fiji and all, large groups that are flying for like 18 hours to get here. We had a special delegation this year from Egypt at the Feast of Tabernacles in Jerusalem.
ICEJ spokesman David Parsons said the work of the ICEJ goes beyond the feast.
From the founding of the Christian Embassy 40 years ago, we became involved in Aliyah work, helping gather the Jewish people back here to the land of Israel. And as of now, as of today, we have helped 150,000 Jews to make Aliyah, to help them make the journey home to the land of Israel.
This young doctor and his family from the Ukraine are the 150,000th new immigrant helped by the ICEJ.
I'm really thankful so much for everyone who helped for us.
So why do the Christians come to the feast?
Because I love God and because I love Israel. And the Feast of Tabernacles has a meaning not only about Israel but also about the nations.
I'm so blessed to step on the soil. I've been praying for Israel.
As part of the feast, the pilgrims join a festive parade in the streets of Jerusalem.
The Bible says that we should love Israel because this is where salvation comes from.
Our heart is for you because our heart is for God, and we want to see Israel, all of Israel, blessed.
The Bible says, comfort my people, comfort my people. It's why I'm here, comfort my people.
And we believe that more and more Christians are going to come to understand that they need to support Israel and not believe the lies. And so it says, you bless Israel, you'll be blessed. We believe our land, Ireland, is being blessed today because we're blessing Israel.
One Israeli said the Christian support is like a big hug.
Every year we come with our kids and we stand here for hours seeing everyone parade down. It's beautiful, it's colorful, it's happy. Everyone are singing Israeli songs about Jerusalem.
I think it's very exciting to know that there are so many people that love us and are excited to be here in Israel, just as I'm excited to be here. And this is a fantastic way to show the partnership between us and the rest of the world.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Coming up, tens of thousands of Jewish people come to the Western Wall to receive an ancient biblical blessing during the Feast of Tabernacles.
Prophecy thousands of years old.
We were called to be a light to the world.
Being fulfilled today. Discover how. Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life. Just call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he has, which color he is, this is what I'm doing.
See how the people of Israel are fulfilling prophecy.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
By sharing their knowledge.
In Africa, in Asia, in South America, in East Europe.
And their love.
This is how we work. This is us.
Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
Also during Sukkot, Israelis and Jews from around the world packed the Western Wall Plaza during the Sukkot holiday. As CBN correspondent Julie Stahl shows us, they came to participate in an ancient biblical tradition.
Masses of Jewish people streamed through the old city streets to reach the Western Wall. They came for the Birkat HaKohanim, or priestly blessing, during the biblical holiday of Sukkot.
We've been coming here for thousands of years for this special day. The priests from all over the country come to the Wailing Wall to bless the Jewish people, and we feel it incumbent upon us to come here and receive those blessings.
Really, really fabulous for me, for my family, to come here, to be inspired by seeing hundreds of thousands of Jews together. It's amazing, really, really amazing.
In the book of Numbers, God commands Moses and Aaron to bless the children of Israel. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. The Aaronic benediction, or blessing, is a daily part of Jewish prayers, and during Sukkot, Jewish people gather from around the world here to give and receive this ancient blessing. Jewish men, believed to be part of the priestly line, come to bless the people of Israel.
We are gathering here to, shake our lulav and a sorghum, which I have in this case over here. And especially today is very special. We have a communal collective birchas kohanim, which is the blessing of the priests. I happen to be Kohen myself, so I was just there.
Another part of the prayers comes from Leviticus 23, where it says to bring the fruit of beautiful trees, palm branches, the boughs of leafy trees, and willows of the brook, and rejoice before the Lord. That's why they wave the palm branch, citron or etrog, willow, and myrtle branches.
It's a special day, reminds us a little bit of our history. The closest as we can be to 2,000 years ago, where we had the temple and we could have come.
Some say the more that come to bless and be blessed, the better.
And this is one of the holiest blessings that we can get from the priests, and at one of the holiest places.
We want to just take every opportunity we can get in the Holy Land, so that's why we're here.
Is this your first Birkat HaKohanim?
Yes, it is.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, the Western Wall, Jerusalem.
It is a remarkable experience to be at the Western Wall for the priestly blessing. Today's program is a difficult combination. First of all, the human suffering not far from here in Syria, and then the celebration of the biblical Feast of Tabernacles. So with our wishes for a happy feast come a plea for prayer for the men and women, boys and girls caught in the crossfire. CBN News has met and reported on a number of those in northeast Syria now caught in the crossfire. They're enduring a horrific crisis and asking for both prayer and physical assistance. As we said earlier, if you'd like to help those refugees in need, you can visit the Operation Blessing website at ob.org. Well, that's all for this edition of Jerusalem Dateline. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm Chris Mitchell. We'll see you next time on Jerusalem Dateline.